Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. I'm your host, Anish Gupta.
And I'm your host, Srikar Ajendran.
We're back, another week recap and preview. We both had pretty solid weeks. I had a fun time on Sunday, a really unexpected fun time on Sunday, because really I went into that thing with no hope, but hey, we both pulled out a win this weekend. Shriek, you're back in your frozen tundra that is Syracuse, New York. And I am back in what feels like a frozen tundra up in Berkeley. But
oh, come on.
Yeah, they always make fun
of me.
Dude, it's literally like 10 degrees. Usually there's like a 40-degree difference between where we are. So yeah, we're freezing out here. But you know, we're called the Cold Hard Truth, freezing cold. But there's a really hot deal right now that you can take advantage of at manscaped.com. Yeah, Manscaped is an amazing below the waist grooming for men. It's a company that has had a trimmer, crop preserver ball deodorant, boxers, t-shirts, just an amazing experience, great products. We have tried the Lawnmower 4.0, which is what they're known for. Amazing craftsmanship. Again, it's the ultimate groin and body hair trimmer. It's got a really cool ceramic blade. It's got wireless charging, prevents all those accidents, so you can keep those balls really safe. Protect the football, protect your balls the same way. Yeah, Shriek, what's the code that you could use for this hot new deal?
CHT20.
CHT20, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Join over 2 million men worldwide with this exclusive offer. Again, 20% off, free shipping using code CHT20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0. And now let's get into the video. First thing we'll start off, this has felt like a Packers podcast the last few weeks, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The Pack, they lost again. We're not really going to talk about that, more what they will do. Shriek deemed it as a really big storyline. I agree with him in some way. But yeah, so little QB controversy. Never would have thought about that with the reigning back-to-back MVP. But Jordan Love had a solid performance. I'll let Srikar maybe touch on that more before I refute him probably. Real question is, though, Shriek, do you think that I'll ask it in two different ways than what we have on the doc. One, do you think Jordan Love should start? And two, where do you think they go with Aaron Rodgers in the future? Because let's be real, I do not think the Packers will make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, they won't. Against Philly, Love played the last two drives. He did well. He hit on 6 of 9 attempts for 113 yards and a touchdown. Whether he can post stats anywhere in that realm over a full game, we still don't know, but there's the issue for Green Bay. Love was a first-round pick in 2020, and everything about him is still very much a mystery. So since I believe the Packers have nothing to play for, obviously you can say they're still not mathematically eliminated. They're done. Like, they're not. I've been on this for a couple of weeks. They're done. There's nothing to play for. So I think Love should now become the focus. I think he should start the rest of these 5 games. Because, look, the Packers have to make a decision about Love's fifth-year option this offseason. Nothing else matters now beyond, week by week, evaluating everyone, which would have happened regardless of who's under center, but it's even more important now with Love. This is a lost season for Green Bay. So you want to at least find out about Love's potential or his lack of potential, and get that sort of clarity in the offseason. Now, what happens in those 5 games probably determines what they do with Rodgers. The way I'm leaning right now is I think they're going to trade him. At least that's the way that I see, both sides kind of working it out. But who knows? If Love ends up stinking it up over these next 5 games, then, they could be in the veteran QB trade market. A lot of stuff could happen. But as of right now, I think you see what you have in Love, and the way I'm leaning right now is I think Rodgers is out of Green Bay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we wouldn't have been having this conversation when they had beaten Tampa and they were 2-1, right? And could you have imagined that? Look, okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Jordan Love we saw on Sunday is not indicative of what we're going to particularly get from him. How about we go back to the Chiefs game where he could only put up 7 points despite his defense allowing 13? How about we go to the loss against Detroit, a 2-win team, right? Like there's just so many examples I have where Jordan Love has looked bad than the ones I have of Jordan Love looking good. Now that doesn't mean he can't be, right? Given the right tools, he's never really had first team reps for a particular amount of time. So I am in accordance with you. I do think that they should give him first team reps. Same thing with Rod, right? Like if Aaron Rodgers, for one, if the Packers want to keep his value for next year, you don't want to injure him, right? Because as bad and quote unquote bad, I really don't think he's been bad, but this has been a down year for him. You still have flashes of him looking good, right? Like you'll every now and then you'll see a throw, like even against Philly, right? The 2 touchdown throws he had were vintage A-Rod, right? Like it's not that he can't get to that level, and it's not that that level has been gone. So is the trade imminent? I don't know. I feel like the Packers are now going to be again in this, off-season controversy of where Aaron Rodgers is going to go, what the future holds. Like, quite frankly, yeah, I think the Packers just want to get out of it, right? Like every single offseason for literally the last 4 years, right? So this would be 4 years now since Jordan Love, since 2019, we're going to be asking, what is Aaron Rodgers' future? Like, at some point it's got to be tiring, right? Like as a franchise, so without an owner. So yeah, I would definitely want to kind of get off that. And the crazy thing about the Packers is that 5 of their 7 top contracts are on defense. So they were terrible on defense yesterday. You let up 350 something yards rushing. Dude, that's insanely bad.
Joe Barry.
Everyone's going to point to Joe Barry, but even then, some of the players like Jair Alexander's been really inconsistent. Quay Walker's been up and down. There really hasn't been a solid, consistent piece on this defense. If you can name me one, go ahead, but not really. So that's a problem. The Packers have way more problems than we had thought. I mean, even Packer haters who said, maybe 8-9 or something did not expect this. If you had told me the Packers are going to fall off this much, I wouldn't have believed you. I still had them really good. They've got, I don't really know what to say. I mean, all their O-line's kind of aging, right? Their receivers, we don't know what they have. This is a franchise in a lot of turmoil. For someone who is consistently dominating the NFC North for 25 years, it's going to be some rough patches, Green Bay fans. So maybe you should have thought of that before you hooked yourselves onto one player.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. I don't really see, anything. How about this? I'll throw this at you. Do you think Jordan Love's 5th year gets picked up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it does.
I'm with you too. So the problem is though, the 5th year is, by the time the 5th year comes, it's probably going to be up north of 20 mil, right? Because right now I think it's around 18 to 19. So it's going to be a lot, right? And I just don't know. I watched a little bit of it, right? And release wise, he looked good. He was solid.
It really depends how aggressive they want to be in the market for a QB this offseason, because if they feel like they've got a target in mind, they'd be fine just letting Jordan walk.
They don't have a championship caliber roster though. It's not worth it. I don't really know what quarterback what, Derek Carr or something. What are you gonna see? What are you gonna do? I don't really think
they're in no man's land. It's just it's what it is.
And what's crazy is they're in no man's land, but they're a bad team in no man's land. So it's pretty funny.
Them and the Broncos just rotting there.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Rodgers is still going to get paid $50 million for a couple more years. I believe 2 more. So I'll hold off the Jordan Love thing. I don't know about the fit. I think they will. I don't know if it's the right move. So that's probably what
I agree with you, because I think even if he doesn't show as many flashes as we think, what choice do they really have?
Do you really think he's going to pop? And now that I say this, he might. But do you really think he's going to pop off and elevate to this whole to really the caliber that they drafted him at?
I've seen Geno do it, but not everyone's Geno. So if I had to say no, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, that was a quick little talk about the Packers because I tried believing, I tried thinking they could run the yeah. But that defense and all of those problems, no.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, also off chance, do you think he retires, Aaron Rodgers?
No, I think he'll keep playing. It wouldn't surprise me, but I feel like he still has like 1 or 2 years left.
I think it's crazy the fact that like this is the first time I've genuinely believed that Aaron Rodgers will not be in Green Bay next year. Like I think
Yeah.
despite all the rumors, everything we've talked about in the last couple of years as a podcast, like I've never really thought, okay, Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Oh, because it's come up every year.
Yeah, but it never like I never was like, dude, he's gone. You know what I mean? Like despite
Mhm.
all the rumors, this is the first time, or like I feel like this is going to be the offseason where I'm like, okay, like I can really see the end here. You know?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, that's our little Packers segment for those of you who are Packers fans. You guys should love us, by the way. We talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of another team who collapsed, and oh boy, I loved this one. I loved this one almost as much as I loved our win against Tampa, because I turned it off and I see a team down 7 points. Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars had the upset, one of the biggest upsets of the year. And look, I don't want to toot my own horn or a little, but called it. But yeah, let's talk about the Ravens in this regard, though. Another 2 possession lead heading well into the fourth quarter that was blown. I'll throw it at you, right? So was this bad Ravens, good Jaguars, and what does this mean for the Ravens long term, because they're the ones who were kind of relevant.
I give credit to Trevor Lawrence. I give credit to Doug Peterson. I give credit to that program. This is about the Ravens, though. I think it's 100% about the Ravens, and it's just more of the same. They're 7-4. You're leading the AFC North, but you really could be fighting for the number 1 seed if not for all those collapses. We take it all the way back to week 2. 28 fourth quarter points to the Dolphins. 2 weeks later, you blow a 20-3 lead to the Bills. Right after that, you were leading by 10 in the fourth quarter over the Giants, and the Giants come back and win. Obviously, Lamar Jackson threw a hideous interception in that game. And now this. The Jaguars were down 19-10, and then you score 18 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. I think that left the Ravens really shocked. And once again, one of those scores was gifted on a turnover, that Gus Edwards fumble. But Jackson came back. They got an answer, got the lead back at 27-20, and then the Jaguars obviously drove down the field 75 yards. Despite the additions of Jason Pierre-Paul, despite the addition of Roquan Smith, I mean, this Ravens defense is still folding in huge moments, and this is an obvious concern going to January when Baltimore is going to be guaranteed to see elite offenses in the AFC in their conference. So again, this just reaffirms that I don't think the Ravens are in that Super Bowl bubble. They were pretty much never in my Super Bowl bubble. But yeah, I think this is way more of bad Ravens. I mean, it's good Jaguars too. I mean, you got to give them credit where it's due, but just like in weeks past, the Ravens had this one in the bag and they let it slip.
Yeah, okay. The reason why I picked Jacksonville was more like, I had 2 reasons. One, they were off the bye, and 2, the Ravens have been known to play down to their competition this year. Like, if you watch the Carolina game, that should have been a Ravens loss, right? Like, that really should have been a loss. I mean, look, it was 13-3. Shi Smith had a wide open pass that he dropped from Baker. Like, that was just not an impressive win. So that was kind of why I thought, okay, Ravens play down to their competition. That's what's kind of gonna happen. I'm gonna actually say this was good Jaguars. To have that type of touchdown drive, I think it was 85 yards, and they converted a 4th down in their own territory. They converted a 3rd and 6, which was a absolute dime to Zay Jones. And then the insane touchdown to Marvin Jones, which little controversial. I thought he got the shin down, but it was a little bit controversial, right? Wish-washy call. So I thought it was really good Jaguars in the sense that you really executed on the plays you needed to. So I don't think it's going to be that type of collapse, but if we keep seeing a pattern here, I can't keep saying, oh, it's just this one time, right? And yeah, Srikar and I have debated whether or not the Ravens should be in that Super Bowl bubble. I still think at their best, they can be one of the 3 best teams in the league. And that's the problem. That's why I keep them in there. But the problem is they keep playing down to their competition and they have these type of collapses. So, and as far as blame, it can go
everywhere.
it goes everywhere. It's not really one particular place, because there are times where Lamar just I question what the hell he's literally doing, right? Obviously the running backs have had fumbles. They don't really have a consistent RB1. They've been rotating guys throughout. Wide receivers like James Prochet, Rashad Bateman's now out. What are you really dealing with there? And then Mark Andrews, same thing. He's been dealing with a little bit of injuries. There's just a lot that the Ravens have been dealing with internally. It's never been about the noise or anything, but I still think the Ravens win their division, because we'll talk about it maybe later, but the Bengals schedule is it is literal hell on earth. I mean, Chiefs, Browns, at Tampa, at New England, Bills, and Ravens. And the Ravens do, when they're healthy, they play well against.
And the Ravens got an easy schedule for the most part too.
Yeah, they've had the easiest schedule for the league since week 9. So just can't drop these games. That's the problem, right? I saw a stat. The Ravens are the only team in the Super Bowl era to have led by multiple possessions in every single game to start a year, the first 11 games, and they are the only team that has actually lost, and they've lost 4 times. Every other team, 09 Saints, Packers, all 11-0. And these guys are 7-4. That's crazy. That's been their only problem. That's literally been their only problem. They're such a well-coached team. They have so many good players. It's execution, and that's what football comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're gonna talk about the Cardinals a little bit. Really brutal loss. That was a brutal loss. I mean, I'm watching it. I was watching it for fantasy purposes, but I'm just looking back on it now, you let up that type of drive, right? 2-point conversion the same way the Ravens did. I mean, it's just constant noise on the sideline, man. This is why I was not invested in the Cardinals this year, right? Too much offseason noise. It always comes back to bite you. And now we're getting more of these arguments on the sidelines with Kyler and D-Hop now. It's just so much noise. And I cannot put my faith in this team. I've done it too much this year. I've given up. So Srikar actually posed a really good question for this topic. It's, who survives on this team next year? Kliff, Kyler, neither, or both? And for that being said, I'll let Srikar start.
Well, yeah, the Cardinals are they're actively just trying to lose. They beat themselves, really. And I'm with you. Going into this season, I was not buying them. There's too much drama with the team. I said it all throughout the offseason as well. We've talked about it on podcasts past, if you want to go back and watch those. But as far as who's going to stay, I'm actually going to say both. And it comes down to ownership. Michael Bidwill is a very, very cheap owner. He just extended Kliff Kingsbury. He just locked in Kyler Murray. I do not see a world. Well, I can see a world, but I don't see him this offseason getting rid of Kliff and eating all that dead money for years. And they're practically locked into Kyle. I don't think he's going anywhere unless it was a trade. But at this point, I don't know who. I mean, the value situation with Kyler is a little weird. He'll have suitors, but I think they're going to hold on to him. I think both are safe for this offseason. Now, do I think in the distant future that they're safe? No, but the fact that they just extended those guys, I don't see a world in which they fire them after 1 year. And I don't agree with it. I just think it's what's going to happen. I think both are here to stay.
All right. So I'm going to actually side with you. I think both. And first of all, I'm going to address this. I have been so wrong about Kliff Kingsbury this year. So wrong. I kept telling, as much as I didn't think the Cardinals as a whole were going to do good, I still thought, okay, look, they've gotten better every single year, right? I kept saying this. Kliff and Kyler both. Kyler as a quarterback and Kliff as a coach. Record-wise, they've gotten better every single year. And Kyler, in terms of playing, has been better every single year. This year, though, oh my God. Like Kyler, it's not like he looks like a shell of himself. It's just where's the improvement? He's just doing – he hasn't even can you think of a signature game? Or can you think of a game where he's wowed you?
No. It's not a single one.
Yeah, he's just been he's just been that's literally that's all he's been. Not really good, not really bad, just That's all he's been. Like he's been the definition of blah, like mid.
No,
Like,
genuinely,
I don't.
yes.
Yeah, I really did. Like I can't, I can't even point to a signature moment he's really had all year. So yeah, I mean, but as you made a really good point about how Cardinals just do not like to spend, and then also like they just gave them 5 and 4 year deals respectively, right?
Which they
Like
messed
it's
up.
hard to get off a year. And yeah, it's dumb, but now you got to think about it and say, hey, we've got 3 more years to figure this stuff out. So figure it out. There's not, but when you hear Kyler say schematically, we're kind of, bleep, like why? Like, that's just like, why say that? Right. And, even if you are, which I don't necessarily actually think you are, I think a lot of it is just execution. Like, fine, yes, the play calling can be very subpar on 4th down. I'll agree. Like, I've seen enough Cardinal memes from my friend Donnie, which makes me laugh. But like, execute better. And, maybe, D-Hop's not going to have the PEDs, I hope, not next year, right? And then I think you're going to run another year back with D-Hop, Hollywood Brown, Robbie Anderson, Zach Ertz will come back. So this isn't like a team that's going to be down in the dumps. I think if you really bolster this O-line, aside from Rodney Hudson, you've got yourself a lineup. So I think, I'm with you. I think both stay.
But then even the defense took a step back.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is like, it's really hard to, replicate 7-0 to start the year. But like, at least, again, I think, I was under the impression that they were going to start off slow because of the D-Hop suspension and maybe pick a little bit of steam, but they wouldn't, get to 500. That's kind of where they're at, but like not really.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of winnable games. They did. The Philly game was very winnable. Chargers game, definitely a winnable game. Well, what other teams have they shockingly lost to? Like those are the two that just come off the top of my head. Seattle, honestly, winnable in the 4th quarter. Like just a lot of these things where it's like you just point multiple times in the fingers and you're just like, who did what? But yeah, I'm with you though. I think both stay. Not really because we want to, but because they kind of have to.
Yeah, again, it's not what we would do, but it's what what they're going to do. Like it just comes down to ownership at the end of the day.
You think Kyler's still a top 10 quarterback?
No. Oh, come on, no.
Wow. No. Okay.
This is a resounding no.
I'm not sure. Like, because again, I've seen good and I've seen bad. I can't.
Because I don't even think I had Kyler top 10 going into the year. So if anything, this year just didn't.
Yeah, I had him in top 10. I had him top 10 in the year. I can't let 12 games for me still. I'm still gonna say yes, just because his talent is just so astronomically great, and he's so different from what other quarterbacks do that it's so hard to game plan for him. But like, there's just so much question. Like, yeah, if you're really that talented, like, why can't you execute? So, yeah, a lot of that is on him this year. So we'll see. But we're gonna stay in the NFC West because Srikar wanted to. No, I'm just kidding. The Niners you were there at the game, right? 13-0 shutout, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Really shaky on offense, really shaky, but they on defense were like phenomenal. Multiple goal line stands, right? Like literally play after play. I don't really know how much to give to them and how much do I give to the Saints for just being so stupid. Like, oh my God, like some of the plays they called, I was like, what are you doing? Like, run the ball. Oh my God. And then the one time they give it to Alvin Kamara, he gets literally gang tackled and loses the ball. Like, I don't even fault him for that fumble. That was just like, yeah, that's right. He had 2 fumbles. Yeah. The second one though, he got harassed. He got harassed at the goal line. Clean hits, but like, clean. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, the Niners are kind of pulling away at this NFC West. We already talked about the Cardinals. The Seahawks have now dropped 2 in a row. Really shaky, like in the 4th quarter and overtime. I'm going to talk about Seattle a little bit just because, man, I want to get some stuff off my chest for that Josh Jacobs run. How in God's name do you allow a running back of Josh Jacobs' caliber to go for 300 total scrimmage yards? This is not a college
Jacobs
game.
Jacobs isn't bad.
No, bro, I don't care. No, I'm not behind. No, come on, man. Like, really?
He's
This
having a
Seahawks
great
defense was
season.
playing. They went 2-3, right? The defense was astronomically bad. Then they had a 4-game stretch where they looked really good, and now they have looked like so horrendous.
They're back.
The Raiders' O-line on Sunday was like a godsend. You should have watched the amount of time that Derek Carr had in the pocket, literally all day to throw. He literally there was a play. I believe it was to Mac Hollins. It was literally just a crossing route, but oh my god, the like.
Was it the flea flicker?
No, it was literally just a simple crossing or just a simple drag route. This dude literally looks right, looks left, and then back to right and throws it to Mac. I was screaming at my TV because obviously I wanted the game to end so I could win my fantasy matchup. But yeah, my God. I mean, like, Seattle, pull your defense together because right now I would take Washington over you, which, hey, we said last week we were unsure. No, I think I'm flipping my pick. I think Washington looks like the better team over Seattle. Washington looks better than you. The Giants are injured, so that's why I was scared. I'm scared about the Giants. So they've got 11 players out, but scared about the Giants. I'm good on Washington. I'm scared about the Giants, and then Dallas, shoe in. And then I think the Niners are going to win this division. I don't know, like the Seahawks have given me no reason to even doubt it.
So I'm partially with you. I agree. Eagles, Vikings, Niners, Cowboys, they'll get in. I'm going to give a wild card spot to Seattle only because I think only one of the Commanders and Giants will make the playoffs. I think one of those teams make it, not both.
Okay.
Not neither.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not sure about the Giants, and it sucks because of injuries. So if they get healthy, I would take a healthy Giants team over Seattle. I would.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I mean, Seattle beat them at Seattle, right? So, fair to them, but again, the Giants weren't healthy. So, I would probably take, but you're right? Like injury-wise.
Yeah.
The Commanders have really they're finding different ways to win. So, and Seattle is finding different ways to lose. So,
well, here's the thing: Seahawks have the Rams and the Panthers over the next 2 weeks, and then you got the Niners on Thursday Night Football. So, you just got to get back on the right track. The defense, again, as you said, was much better, and then they fell back into those old habits against the Raiders. It can't be more than a blip on the radar, right? Yeah,
they're well coached. So, you know what? I'm with you there. I think if the Giants stay like this, they're not going to make it. I think it's an 8-team race in the NFC. Do you really see anybody else? Oh, okay, maybe Atlanta, maybe.
No.
If they can just pull their stuff together.
Well, if the Bucks lose to the Saints and the Falcons win, the Falcons are in first place of the South.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying so because the Falcons also have to play the Bucks one more time, but I'm saying I think I'm still gonna pick the Bucks to win the division, but I can't rule out the Falcons of a wild card. So I think maybe it is a 9-team race, but barring anything catastrophic, because the Falcons I believe are 5-6 or 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
So really hard to kind of pull away on this one. Because I think the Saints are terrible. Panthers, even though they showed some life, they're not. Just won't catch up. Chicago's out.
I would take a look, but I'm with you. I just don't know who else I would actually include.
I think we're looking at an 8, maybe 9-team race here. So
because after Atlanta it goes Detroit, Green Bay, Arizona. Like we're not serious. Like it's gonna be Dallas, it's gonna be Seattle, and it's gonna be one of the Commanders of the Giants.
Okay,
in my opinion.
In your opinion, we could see an all NFC East, so we'll see. I'm still gonna hold out hope for because Atlanta they're scrappy, so they don't lose by a lot. They keep games close.
The NFC East will beat themselves up though because this stretch has a lot of NFC East matchups. So
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I'm with you on that. So barring a Falcons, surge, I think you're right. This is an 8-team race, and I'm with you there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well. That was a pretty quick recap if we do, right? I think we got through all those topics pretty quick. So now we can spend a little bit extra time, if you're willing, on our week. What is it, 13 now? God, dude, we're finally here, dude. We're here, week 13. You know why I'm excited. Week 13 picks. Shriek, why don't you break it down for us, man?
Well, I know why he's excited for week 13, but so Jack is still in first, 113 wins.
Okay, but But
Anish,
let's talk about
let's talk about you.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about how far I'm behind.
One game.
One game,
One
baby.
game separates
Hey,
you
I
from
was
first
down like
place.
6. We've come back. Trevor Lawrence, I thank you. Thank you for proving me, what do you call it, somewhat right on you. I hope you can continue this so I don't have to eat it every day. Really great. Yeah.
Fans are at
All right.
110. I'm at 109. This is really this is a really tight
Dude, everyone's within 4. That's insane.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Let's thank Jack for picking New England, shall we?
Oh yes. Thanks,
I'm
Jack.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad. No, that I feel like that like crunched it a little bit, right? Like
It definitely
we
did.
all got a game on him for that.
Yeah, and I just want to say to the actually I don't have words for the Broncos. I'll save it. I'll save
I just
it.
want to say for the Seahawks, you suck. Like you ruined not just a pick, but my fantasy matchup. I really hope you guys get your act together because seriously, I was so mad. All right, let's go.
Thursday Night Football, a really, really good matchup. The Bills and the Pats. I'll go ahead and start here. I really think the Pats are going to keep this close. I mean, the Bills are all sorts of beat up on defense. Obviously, you don't have Miller. I think Rousseau is going to be out. It's tough, man. Because looking at it like just on a surface level, you would think Bills, but Belichick has something ready for Josh. I want to pick the Pats. I'm gonna go with the Bills for now. I do not feel confident in it at all, considering how the Bills have looked over the past, how Josh Allen himself has looked over the past few weeks. I mean, it's not a very favorable matchup, and it's in Gillette. I'm going to go with the Bills for now, but expect this pick to change on Thursday.
I'm with you, man. This one's a scrap, but I've said this, right? I have not really been impressed with Buffalo. They've just not wowed me. And New England kept it really close against Minnesota. I came into our Thanksgiving dinner with all our family and friends, and I was like, guys, if Minnesota scores more than 20, I think it's Minnesota's game. I think this being in New England it has a decent sized impact. The Bills have been, think about it, right? They've traveled to Detroit now twice. Now they have to go back home, and then they have to go back to New England. It's just a lot of traveling. It's 3 straight road games when it shouldn't have been, right?
Yeah.
So give me New England here, and I'm really like unsure about this one, but give them to me. I think they get one on them, right? Especially because like I don't see a skid, right? They were 6-4. Like I think they need this one to keep up in the race.
Yeah.
And guess what? I believe they're still because Buffalo is what 8-3 right now, and yes. Oh no. Okay, yeah. I thought they would be tied in record, but no. So they'd be 7-5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's head into the Sunday slate. Steelers at Atlanta. This is another very tough game. I'll let you start here.
All right. So Steelers their defense looked pretty good against the Colts. I watched the first half of the Colts Steelers game. They looked pretty good, and it's ironic because I believe they are 2-1 with TJ Watt, maybe 3-1 when TJ Watt has played. Yeah, again, they're a scrappy team. Atlanta plays a lot better at home than they do on the road. So the question is, right, can the Steelers kind of contain the Falcons? Because the Falcons have only allowed like 19 points. They play, like I said, they play scrappy. I'm actually going to go with Pittsburgh here. TJ Watt, I think, is kind of the reason.
I'm going to differ. I'm going to go Atlanta. And it comes down to, this is so even, it comes down to Atlanta having an extra day of rest, for one, and they get to be at home. So
yeah, I think the home thing is hard. I might have to. Oh,
I mean, that could really be the difference, right? So I'm going to go with ATL. But it's another one where I just kind of hinge in the middle. Packers Bears possibly could be Trevor Siemian versus Jordan Love. That would be very interesting. Or we could get Justin Fields versus Jordan Love. If Justin Fields isn't healthy for the Bears, I'm going Packers all day. If Fields is healthy, I'm going to go with the Bears at home. The only thing that irks me is the Packers just historically always beat the Bears. Like they just do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me go with Green Bay for now.
Yeah, give me Green Bay. I'm not even gonna say much about it. I like they as bad as their defense played, they still put up 33 points. So
Right.
yeah.
All right, Jaguars, Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. Where are you gonna go with? This is like 4 tough games for me to pick right off the bat.
Well, Detroit had again, they played really good against Buffalo. Like they've looked really good these last 4 weeks. So can the Jags continue their amazing, run for their money and go and beat Detroit? I really want to pick them, but I can't. Give me Detroit here. I think Detroit wins this one.
I do as well. Detroit has played much better football over the past month. The Jaguars are coming off a tough game, an emotional win. The Lions are on that mini bye because of Thanksgiving. So I'm also going to go with Detroit here.
I really hope Jacksonville wins, though. Just keep that in mind. I'm always rooting for them. But yeah,
make things interesting. But the Jets at the Vikings. This is another tough game. Well, actually, I don't think it's as tough.
It's not as easy as you might think. I like they looked really good against Chicago. Mike answered all the questions that we had with a good quarterback. How does this team look, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did they look? They looked terrific.
Right. Yeah.
So and I think I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I think this is a playoff team with Mike White. I know this is a little early, and they played the Bears in a rainy game, but he looked really solid, and I think that's the. Actually, okay, no, I'm gonna hold myself. I can't do this because he did this against the Bengals, and then he had 3 interceptions versus Buffalo. So I'm gonna hold a little bit of that, but I do think Mike White has been better than Zach. You can see the team rallies around him. That being said, give me Minnesota.
I think between 3 fringe teams, if you gave me the Jets, the Pats, and the Chargers, and you told me only one has to make the playoffs, who's it going to be? I would say the Jets. I would honestly say the Jets with Mike White, which is kind of crazy to say.
Whoa. I'm still with the Pats. You know that.
I'd roll with the Jets, but the Vikings are at home. 3 extra days of rest. New York has a good defense, but I think Minnesota is the more complete team at this juncture. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here. Sorry, did I miss your pick? Did you say Vikings?
No, I said Vikings. Yeah, I shouldn't have gone first here, but I will say this. This is going to, we always talk about corner receiver matchups. I always think they're stupidly overhyped, but this is actually one I'm excited to see because Sauce does line up on your number one. He's very much so, he doesn't go shadow them every time, but he's going to see Justin Jefferson. You are going to see that. So I'm excited for that. All
right, I'll let you start on Commanders Giants at MetLife. I
just did Minnesota and Detroit.
You went out of place.
No,
that has to incur oh my God.
You start.
Okay.
I'm starting 3 in a row.
All right. New York is beginning to reel somewhat, and the Commanders have only lost once since putting Taylor Heineke into the starting lineup. I'm gonna go with the Commanders, but I have a weird feeling the Giants are gonna get back on track. It's at MetLife, but I cannot bet against Heineke right now. I just can't.
Daniel Jones owns Washington. Give me the Giants to bounce back. Yeah, I really haven't picked against the Commanders in a long time. It's been a while.
Well, last year didn't DJ, or was that week 2, right? Week 2 they lost the Commanders.
Yeah, no, but he when he plays against them, he looks really good. And yeah, they lost off the stupid offsides thing on the field goal. Giants fans will remember that one.
Joe Judge.
Yeah, let's go with the Giants. Again, another tough one, right? We've differed. Mm-hmm. I might change that Pittsburgh one though, but yeah.
All right, Titans, Eagles in Philly. I'll start on this because you got 2 in a row. I'll go 2 in a row. Make it even. But look, I've seen people say the Eagles are this year's version of the 2020 Steelers, and I 100% disagree. I think this team is way better than that version of the Steelers. I don't think these are, last year's Cardinals. I think this team is legit. I think they can absolutely make the Super Bowl. And we should stop comparing them to the 2020 Steelers. All right, now that that's off my chest, Tennessee has struggled to stop the pass all year. This is an A.J. Brown revenge game. If I'm a betting man, I hammer every single A.J. Brown prop I see because that guy is gonna go off in this game. This is one game where you just know that A.J. Brown's gonna have $150 and 2 touchdowns. So give me the Eagles. I think they'll roll in this one. Now I do have to give Tennessee credit, but the Eagles are just going to outscore them. It's just what it's going to be.
Now that Shriek said that, expect 31 yards on 5 catches and no touchdowns from AJ. I completely disagree. I think Tennessee keeps this close. I got Philly also, but I think Tennessee keeps. This is an exact game where I think it's going to be close and it's going to come down to like the final minute. Yeah, give me Philly though. You low-key convinced me Philly over Tennessee. I was thinking Tennessee just because I think they would have bounced back versus a tough loss against Cincy. But
in Philly,
they're just not. Yeah, dude, I feel like Philly's gotten all their important matchups at home. Think about it, right?
Yeah, they have.
Obviously, they'll play Dallas again, but Dallas at home, Minnesota at home, Green Bay, not really important, but they got them at home. Like, I feel like all of their important matchups have been at home this year, right? Like, doesn't it seem like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and check, but I think you're right.
Washington at home lost, but it was at home. Like, all of their big matchups. So yeah, give me Philly at home, but it feels like we're not seeing them on the road. The ones that are on the road are like Houston, Indianapolis. Like, bro, come on, give them a test. But yeah, no, I don't know why people compared them to the Steelers. I thought that was just stupid. People will always do that now for any team that's like 8-0 with a weak schedule. But yeah, give me Philly.
All right, Broncos, Ravens. Just go ahead and pick.
So for our OG viewers, I really hope there are some of you guys out there. Do you guys remember when Srikar picked the Bears 7 straight, or I think it was like 8 weeks straight wrong? This has literally been him with Denver. It's so funny. Like Srikar low-key would be in the lead had he picked some of these Denver games right. But yeah, give me Baltimore. I think they bounce back. Denver is just in too much of a hellacious, atmosphere. And you know what's so funny to me? I bet you Srikar is gonna pick Baltimore with me, and I bet you Denver.
They're gonna lose. They're literally gonna lose.
It's so funny. I don't even care that I get it wrong. It's gonna be so funny. But yeah, give me Baltimore.
Yeah, give me Baltimore as well. But here's the thing. And now that I've picked them, Lamar Jackson's gonna put up an all-time stinker. Russell Wilson's gonna go back into God mode. And the Broncos are going to win this game. It's exactly what's going to happen. So give me Baltimore. Broncos fans, you're welcome. All right, let's get into this one. Browns, Texans.
Ooh, we're going to save some time for this one.
I'm going to let you start here.
Okay. No. I started on – you go first. I want my time.
Okay. All right.
I want my time.
Anish has said in weeks past that this is literally one game that they're going to drop because in classic Browns fashion, in Deshaun's first game back, in a revenge game, he is going to lose. As much as I want to say that's going to happen, I cannot bring myself to pick Houston. I can't do it. Like, I can't bring myself to pick this team. So I'm going to go with Cleveland. But I could easily see Deshaun Watson putting up one of his worst career games, and the Texans just somehow win this game.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about this. Because we didn't make this a topic, so we could talk about it in picks.
Yeah.
I have waited for this day for a long time. We're talking since March 18th. It is going to be December 4th when he plays. That is 9 months I have had to wait for Deshaun Watson to play in a Cleveland Browns uniform. And look, please, we've said this every time we talk about him. Please excuse his off the field stuff. We do not want, this podcast to be about that. I do not want to address it. And that being said, obviously we don't condone it. We're not fans of that type of stuff. We're just focusing on the football player, not the person. Yeah, as a Browns fan, obviously, I've had my fair share of, questions and criticisms about, supporting him. But, he's a football player at the end of the day. He's a good quarterback when he's been on the field. I'm really nervous. We've really invested a lot into this guy, and history shows that this type of move has not really worked out. That's not going to take away my hope as much as I've tried. I've said it all weeks, like for the last 5 weeks, I think Houston's going to win this game. Oh man, I'm going to pick Houston.
If Cleveland wins, this would be the funniest moment.
No, but the thing is, okay, I'm probably gonna change my pick, but yeah, put Houston in there for now. Okay. But yeah, look, first of all, his accusers are actually coming in the game. Take that as you will, but Yeah, I don't know. Put Houston in there.
Okay, moving on here.
Wait. Sorry, quick question. No, because we're not gonna get to
Yes.
talk about this. I know.
Okay,
Do
yes.
you think the Browns actually have a shot at a playoff push?
No, no.
Okay. Yeah. See, you know what? If we had lost to Tampa, I wouldn't have thought that. Why did you have to give me hope? Why did you have to beat a Brady team off a bye? And now you're giving me hope because if we, go 5-1, 9-8 is a pretty reasonable record. Whatever. It's okay if they lose to Houston. Playoffs will be over.
Then we forget it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Seahawks, Rams. The Rams have, the Rams are the Rams. We talked about the Hawks previously. Who are you going to take in this one?
Dude, who was the guy they started again? Perkins? Bryce Perkins?
Bryce Perkins.
Dude, that was the most, okay, whoever watched on Fox with me, the Browns-Bucks game or any Fox, the amount of times they hyped up the America's Game of the Week, the amount of times they said those 4 words, oh my God, I wanted to break the TV. That was the most boring and I think irrelevant football game I think I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. I did not pay attention to that thing at all. It was literally just a classic Chiefs win that was not interesting at all, right? Are you with me on that?
I mean, I didn't watch the game.
It was so ironic because the Rams and the Chiefs last time they played was so historical. Yeah, this one was terrible. Give me Seattle. They have to bounce back. There's no way you let Bryce Perkins. Wow, I mean, Sean McVay really has to deal with this.
Okay, but even then, the offense wasn't good before Stafford's injury. It's not. They're still bad. They're still horrible. Kyle Shanahan had these exact same situations and still kept his team at least
You are
somewhat
so
competitive.
right. He so went 0-10.
So awesome.
He went 0-10 in 2017. He went 4-12 without Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you mean he kept the team
2020.
afloat? Huh?
I'm saying when he was faced with injuries in 2020, he still managed to keep the team competitive.
10.
It's a lot better than what the Rams are doing right now.
What are they
The
right
Rams
now?
are picking in the top 4.
They're 3-8, right?
That sucks.
Oh my God, no! Don't
Sean
do
McVay
this.
is about to have the worst season.
6-10, dude. You cannot do this. Do not say that.
6-10, and the Niners ended 2017.
They started. Oh, sorry. Shanahan started 0-10 as a head coach. He goes 4-12 when Jimmy goes down, and he was 6-10 when Jimmy went down again. No, you're not doing that. You're not gonna hype up a 6-10 record. I'm not gonna.
All I'm saying is, keep that same energy for Kyle because if McVay. Okay, there is a lot to unpack with this game. Obviously, it's the Niners versus the Niners East. Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McDaniel. These two squads really know each other. Raheem Mostert said a lot of stuff about Jimmy, about the Niners, about how they treated him in SF. Which I don't really care. But if he wants to get that off his chest, go ahead. The Dolphins have to come across the country to take on the best defense in the league. This is the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. This Niners team is rested. They're waiting at home. 13 straight weeks of picking the Niners. I'm keeping it going.
Yep. All right. The most biased fan in existence picks the Niners. Shocking. Give me the Fins. Give me the damn Fins. They are going to beat the Niners. Mike McDaniel, greater than Kyle Shanahan agenda will begin after the Sunday. Tua has been on another level. I really think, I don't know why we're not getting enough Tua buzz. I thought the MVP, we're just not hearing it enough. I think it should be out there. I think it's a 3-man race. Him, Jalen, and Mahomes. I think really, I think it should be.
I think it's a 1-man race.
Yeah, I think it's a 3-man. Yeah, give me the Fins.
Alrighty. Chiefs Bengals, a rematch of the AFC Championship. I'll let you begin here. Another good game.
Yep. Give me the Chiefs. They're a good team. The Bengals, look, they're going to be entering a really tough slate. I've talked about a lot of this with a lot of Bengals fans. I'm just going to read out the schedule for you guys. Chiefs, Browns with Watson, depending on how they look, right? At Tampa, at New England, Bills, and Ravens. That is hell. That is literal hell. And you're 7-4 heading into that. I'd be worried a little bit. Yeah, that being said, give me the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm going to stick with them.
I've been saying pretty much since the offseason, the Bengals are still a contender. I didn't expect a big regression and they've pretty much proven me right to this point. They're still a really good football team. I believe in Burrow. I believe in his weapons. I think the defense is really underrated. But with that being said, I think this is one of those games that the media is going to pull a narrative no matter who wins, and they are going to run with it. If the Chiefs win, I mean, then there's all this talk about how, the Bengals aren't contenders and all that stuff. If the Bengals win, there's this discussion that Mahomes can't beat the Bengals. So they'll pick one.
Yeah.
They'll run with it. With that said, I'm going to go with Kansas City. They are going to want blood after last year's championship game. Patrick Mahomes is the best player on earth, and I hate picking against him, which is also a reason.
This just feels like a game they could drop, dude. Like, they're 9-2.
It does.
Feels like a game they could drop, but
it does. But I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs for right now. Chargers Raiders in Las Vegas. Give me the Raiders. I thought this was gonna be a little harder for me to pick, but Raiders are on a 2-game win streak. The Chargers needed to pull out all the stops to beat the Cardinals. I mean, I still don't like the Chargers. Give me the Raiders in Las Vegas.
damn, dude, you know what? This is a lot harder than I thought. I was gonna go LA with this one, but you're right. They've looked motivated. I think this is a really maybe a potential season swinging game. Give me the Raiders too. I think, yeah. I really wanted to go LA here, but LA beat them week 1. I think they want their get back. I think they believe in this team also. Like, they can get some things done. Give me the Raiders here. You don't just put up 40 and stink it up the next week. I don't think that happens.
Well, the Raiders can.
Yeah,
it's that's the problem.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. The Chargers have again not looked good in a single game to me. Maybe the only time I've thought they've looked good was the first half against KC. I think that's it.
No, I agree. We both don't like the Chargers at all. The Colts and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. What a treat.
Why is this a game on?
I have no idea.
We've gotten Indy a lot on primetime. A lot.
Yeah.
Right. The Broncos won. The Steelers won. Now we're getting them here. A little too much for me.
I think the only reason they couldn't flex Miami SF into this slot was because the Niners would have too many primetime games at that point. Because I think they would exceed 5. We've
seen enough of this.
Yeah. But I'll let you start here. I think it's fairly easy.
This is a really tough game. You've got a really good team in the Colts. No, I'm just playing. All right, it's the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys here. Maybe if Frank Reich was here, it's been a different story, but Justice.
No, if it was Frank Reich, it'd be the same.
Justice for Frank Reich.
It would be the exact same result.
Dallas.
I'm also going to go with Dallas. I mean, I've been trying to tell people Dallas is really, really good. And it looks like they will hang tough in the NFC. The Saints and the Bucks on Monday Night Football in Tampa Bay. Neither one of these teams are good, but I guess you take Tom Brady over Andy Dalton. So I'll go with the Bucks, but
yeah, I mean, Saints have been known to shut down Brady. I guess Brady squashed that narrative in a really ugly win in week 2. Tristan Wirfs being out does concern me a little bit. The Bucks cannot run the ball anyway, and now you lose your best offensive lineman. That being said, the Saints have literally looked so horrendous. I cannot forgive them for that stupid play. Look, the Niners defense is great. Don't get me wrong, but come on, dude, you made them look like literally an impenetrable object on Sunday. So yeah, give me Tampa. I mean, what the hell was I watching?
Yeah, it was bad. The Niners were dealing with penalties too. On top of that, it's
dude, we've got some difference, bro. We've got Miami SF, Houston, Cleveland, Washington, New York, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, and New England, Buffalo.
Yep. That's actually, that's a lot.
Yeah. Be on the lookout for some changes, folks.
Basically.
That being said, guys, whoever's been sticking with us throughout, can't thank you guys enough. Just another one of those episodes, but we have, a lot of fun doing them. That being said, we've been the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. Don't forget to vote for the games on our stories coming out on Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.